Hello, my wonderful people, viewers and subscribers all over the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Happy New Day, Happy New Week, and also Happy Middle of the Week. Anyway, this week is about to say bye-bye to us. Well, we cannot relent other than doing what we know how to do best. Giving you news or bringing any news to your doorstep is what I'm good in doing. And that is my promise to my fans that I will keep up to date. Anyway, my good people, another Western allies don't arise. What did I call it? A Western force that want to reckon with the IPOB and the BIAFRANS to do what? To speed up the Biafran referendum that we have been fighting for all this while. Well, make on hear this breaking news. Breaking news, before we can be able to continue with other frivolities, because we have no time to waste, and time is money. Breaking news, Biafra. This one is coming from Annie Kings. He's also a Biafran writer. He writes an open letter to the Russian Federation and other allies within that environs concerning what the Biafrans are passing through and how they are being needed to speed up this Biafran struggle and the Biafran restoration. Anyway, without not taking much of your time, I want to go straight to the reason why we are here this morning. But before that, remember, you need to subscribe, like, share, and do what? Comment. Always turn on the notification icon. Be notified each time we go live or post something new on this channel or another channel related to Okute Daily Talk. So this message is to the Excellency, the Foreign Minister of Russian Federation, Mr. Sergei Lavrov, according to the writer of this very particular article. So that is what I want to bring to our notice this morning, to know that guys are not sleeping. I mean, the Biafrans are not sleeping. They are out there to defend our territory and also to reckon with other Western allies who have interest in helping Biafra to achieve their aims. Well, let us read in between the lines. You will understand what exactly I'm talking about. His Excellency's series, with the earnest humility, I am addressing this letter to you and your office as an interested observer of your 2023 Foreign Policy Acts, which seeks to align with the countries in Asia, Islamic world, Africa, Latin America, and the rest of the global south. The summit set to the end of Western hegemony in the international arena, according to this writer, where his name be Annie Kings. Cyrus, my parents were among the survivors of the ill genocidal war fought against Biafra that was championed by the British and Nigerian government in 1967 to 1970. This one is a part of the history of what Biafrans passed through during the war. A war that was recorded as one of the most horrible war crimes in all time after the Jewish Holocaust. The genocidal war crime was committed on the Biafran soil by the British government and her allied nations. The British government fully funded the genocidal war against the then nascent republic, the Republic of Biafra. Cyrus, under the then administration of a British Prime Minister, James Harold Wilson, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, USSR, which encompasses what is known today as the Russian Federation, after the fall of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. The Union of Soviet Socialist Republic was not left out in this gang up against the nascent Biafra Republic, as they heavily participated in the supplies of ammunition that were used to commit genocide against the Biafran people that led to the sudden death of over 6 million Biafrans, both children, male and females. Cyrus said, this is an act I strongly believe it is regrettable to the Russian Federation today because of the British government influence in the emasculation of West Africa and Africans in general. British government unwanted influence in the control of Africa resources would have been drastically reduced to a minimal level or becomes a thing of the past if only Biafra quest for total freedom then succeeded. It is quite unfortunate that British quest to exterminate the nascent Biafra Republic and her people was in the exchange for oil exploitation in Biafra, which brought about the collaboration with the Hausa and Fulani and the Yoruba oligarchy. The Yoruba controlled the Nigerian mainstream media, and the British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC, used its media propaganda and diplomatic influence to deceive the world to turn a blind eye against the Biafrans that were only crying for a breath of freedom air. In other words, sir, it is to be noted that the only crime committed by the Biafrans was their innate desires to live freely as they were before the coming of the colonial masters, British government, and its ill-forceful amalgamation of the north and south of Nigeria that naturally share different culture and religious values and religious value systems, and also the nascent republic desires to freely dictate their economic and political affairs without the interference of the neo-colonialists and the capitalisms of Britain. A struggle that Africans and the rest of the world are waking up to their responsibility today. Sir, it is my firm belief that the Russian Federation policy for Africa is a long expected and obviously a welcome policy for every oppressed nations of the world that are still suffering from the deliberate acts of Western neocolonialism, capitalism, and exploitations, most especially African nations. In West Africa, where I come from, it is so bad that the system put in place is concentrated in raising leaders who are Western stooges as our leaders, a manipulated democratic system that do not reflect the true will of the people. This is because the Western government interests and influences in her colonial most countries and artificial boundaries must come first ahead of the collective interests of the indigenous people of Africa. As a matter of fact, in the quest to protect Western interests by Western studies in form of our leaders, the interests of the indigenous people are rather not considered on the table at all. Reason why Africans keep leaving her shores for greener pastures in Europe and the US. Sir, it is a call of concern, even as the Russian Federation and her government seeks for true alliance with the shared visions and on a mission to fight and liberate African nations from neocolonialism and Western hegemony. The Russian Federation should be aware of Western studies who position themselves as leaders of the people, while in actual fact they are planted to serve the interests of the West with their manipulated and corrupted democratic rules in Africa. A case study is today's ECOWAS. It is important to note that your true allies must be based on indigenous people's interests or over Western traditions' interests in disguise as state leaders. Indigenous people's interests must be captured if your vision in Africa is to yield a positive result. SARS. In Nigeria, for clarification purposes, every vital institution, especially the security apparatus, DSS, police, army, and the judiciary, are full under the dictates of Western imposed leaders against the collective interests of the people. Therefore, indigenous people are paralyzed and are effectively disarmed from every attempt to revolt against Western interests. The only people who are raising their voice, hoping to see through allies to liberate self from this British contraption, are the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, whose leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is presently incarcerated in DSS dungeon. Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, after he was extraordinarily rendition to Nigeria, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was with his valid British passport as a free person, while he traveled as a private British citizen to a third world country called Kenya. Sir, the British MI5 and Kenyan authorities collaborated and handed him over to the Nigerian authority, and he was brought to Nigeria after 8 days of serious torture in a secret gulag in Kenya. Since over 2 years of his illegal abduction, all competent court of jurisdictions in Nigeria, including the United Nations Working Group, has ordered for his release after finding him guiltless of any crime or whatsoever. In other hands, sir, it is in the know that the Appeal Court of Nigeria in Abuja has further discharged and acquitted the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, of all the spurious charges leveled against him, in a landmark verdict that he should not be tried in any court of law in Nigeria. Yet, the Nigerian government continues to detain him illegally in DSS dungeon, while sponsoring criminals to continue to cause havoc in Biafra land against the civilian population in guise of freedom fighters to shop for evidence against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the IPOB that he leads in order to weaken the already popular freedom movements. Thanks to the structure he put in place as an apex institution leading the struggle for the liberation of Biafra under the umbrella of indigenous people of Biafra freedom movement called the Directorate of States, DOS, working hard and exploring every legal avenue to free her leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and for the total freedom of Biafra from British and Nigerian shackles. Sir, it is my humble prayer that your government seek for true alliance with the indigenous people of Biafra leadership with a shared vision and mission also in Africa. God bless Biafran nation. Long live to all the occupants of Biafran Federation and its allies. Long live Biafran nation. Hashtag free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Hashtag free Biafra now. Hashtag Africa arise against impunity. Well, my wonderful people, now here I go take leave on. Make gonna digest this message, I beg. The only thing you could do for me is to help me share this message. Make sure you get to every nooks and crannies. That people need to know that new forces have arisen and in a coalition with IPOB for the emancipation of the Biafran people from the contraction called Nigeria. And that is why every hand is supposed to be on desk and sharing messages. Everything is not all about making noise on social media. Everything is all about when you get the right message, make sure you get to the right people. You keep on sharing this message until the whole people that is involved in this struggle get to know about what we have in mind and what and the plans of the Biafran people with the other allies in the Russian Federation or USSR, former Soviet Union, so that they will do what? They will put hands together to make sure that these dreams of the Biafrans becomes a reality into life. Well, my wonderful people, the viewers and subscribers, and all people who love what I'm doing, I say, make gonna do what? Make gonna continue to subscribe to my channel. Make sure you are commenting. Your comment is very, very important and very, very necessary. So that through your comment, it will make me a better person when I'm presenting a new video next time. So have a nice day. May the good Lord bless you, the Father, the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Bye for now, my wonderful people. Kemesiano.